The invasion began on a Tuesday, which Maya Torres found deeply offensive. She had a calculus exam scheduled for Thursday, and the sudden appearance of 12 heavily armed extraterrestrial soldiers in her high school gymnasium threw her entire study schedule into chaos. The creatures stood 7 feet tall, covered in chitinous armor that gleamed like oil slicks under the fluorescent lights. Their faces resembled a disturbing hybrid of insect and reptile, with compound eyes that fractured light into prismatic shards. Each soldier carried weapons that hummed with barely contained energy, devices that made the air shimmer and twist around their barrels. Principal Henderson dropped his microphone. It hit the stage with a screech of feedback that made everyone in the auditorium flinch. Everyone except Maya. She was too busy calculating angles. The lead alien stepped forward, its voice emerging from a translator device that turned its chittering sounds into flat, emotionless English. This planet has been selected for immediate resource extraction. All sentient life forms will be processed and relocated to designated holding facilities. Resistance will result in termination. Compliance will result in slightly delayed termination. Someone screamed. Several students bolted for the exits, only to find them sealed by shimmering force fields that crackled with blue electricity. Maya raised her hand. The alien commander tilted its head, mandibles clicking in what might have been confusion. "You wish to speak before processing?" "Yeah, quick question," Maya said, standing up. Her best friend Jasmine grabbed her arm, whispering frantically for her to sit down. Maya gently pulled free. "You said resource extraction. What resources specifically?" The alien's translator paused, as if surprised by the question. "Water, carbon-based compounds, metallic ores, biological matter for conversion into usable proteins." "Cool, cool." Maya nodded, walking down the aisle toward the stage. Teachers tried to stop her, but she moved with the kind of confidence that made people hesitate. "And you're planning to strip-mine the entire planet?" "Affirmative. The process will take approximately 14 standard cycles. All surface structures will be dismantled. All organic life will be harvested." "Okay, so here is the thing," Maya said, climbing the stairs to the stage. 3 alien soldiers immediately trained their weapons on her. She ignored them completely. "You've made a pretty significant tactical error." The commander made a sound like grinding glass. "Human child, you are in no position to critique military strategy." "See, that is where you are wrong," Maya replied. She pulled out her phone. The aliens tensed but relaxed when they realized it was not a weapon. She tapped the screen a few times, then held it up. "This is a live stream. Right now, 643 people are watching. In 30 seconds, it will be thousands. In 5 minutes, millions. And you just told everyone on Earth exactly what you were planning." The commander's mandibles clicked rapidly. "This changes nothing. Your species lacks the capability to resist." "Maybe," Maya shrugged. "But here is what you do not know about humans. We are fantastic at 2 things: making weapons and holding grudges." She swiped to another app. "This is the contact information for every major news network, government official and military installation in the Northern Hemisphere, already sent. Your invasion? Not exactly subtle. You think dropping ships into low orbit would not trigger every defense system on the planet." The alien leader took a step forward. "You bluff. No distress signals have been transmitted from this facility. Because you are jamming communications, right?" Maya smiled, but there was nothing warm in it. "Except you're only jamming outgoing signals. Incoming works fine. Which means every phone in this room has been receiving emergency broadcasts for the last 90 seconds. Nuclear-capable nations have gone to DEFCON 2. Orbital defense platforms are charging. And 3 carrier groups just changed course to converge on our location." She pulled up another screen. "Also, you picked a really bad high school to invade. You know what we are famous for? Our robotics team. Specifically, our robotics team that won the national championship by designing autonomous drones that can identify and intercept incoming projectiles." Maya gestured to the ceiling. "There are 47 of those drones in the building right now. They are not weapons, technically, but they are really good at ramming into things at high velocity. Your shields, they block energy weapons and large kinetic impacts, but thousands of small, fast-moving objects. That is going to be a problem." The commander's translator remained silent for several seconds. When it spoke again, the tone had shifted. "You are attempting psychological warfare. Crude, but noted. However, you still cannot prevent the harvest of this world. Actually, I can, Maya said. Her voice dropped, losing the casual tone. Now she sounded cold. Because here is what happens next. You leave this building, you go back to your ships, and you jump to another system. Somewhere far away from here. Or I release the real information. She held up her phone again. Your species signature. The chemical composition of your armor. The energy frequency of your weapons. Your ship's transponder codes. Everything my phone picked up in the last 5 minutes. The alien went very still. That data would be useless to your primitive defense networks. Not to our defense networks. Maya agreed. To our offense networks. See, humans have this fun little thing called mutually assured destruction. We built enough nuclear weapons to sterilize our own planet 6 times over, just to make sure nobody else could have it. Now imagine what we will do to yours. She took a step closer. The guards raised their weapons, but the commander held up a clawed hand to stop them. We have your home world's coordinates, Maya continued. They were in your navigation system, already uploaded to 17 different servers across 6 continents. You kill us? You glass Earth? Fine, but 300 warheads will be screaming toward your planet before our atmosphere finishes burning. And we will make sure at least a dozen get through. The auditorium had gone completely silent. Even the frightened breathing of students had stopped. You do not have the capability to reach our home system, the commander said, but the translator's inflection had changed. Doubt. Not yet, Maya admitted, but we will. And when we do, every human alive will know the name of the species that tried to murder their families. You think you have seen determination? Wait until you see what happens when 7 billion angry primates decide they have a common enemy. She pulled up one more screen. This one showed a rapidly updating number. That is how many people have downloaded the information packet in the last 2 minutes. 40 million and counting. You can kill everyone in this room, you can destroy this city, but you cannot erase that data. It is everywhere now. In the cloud, on servers, printed out in bunkers, carved into stone tablets by preppers in Montana. Maya locked eyes with the commander, her expression hard as steel. So here is your choice. Leave now and never come back. Tell your superiors that Earth is a bad investment. Too aggressive. Too unpredictable. Too willing to burn the galaxy down out of spite. Or stay, complete your harvest, and guarantee that every member of your species will spend the rest of their existence looking over their shoulder, wondering when the vengeful apes will arrive. The alien commander stood frozen, compound eyes reflecting fractured images of the teenage girl standing before it. Then it spoke in its native language, a series of sharp clicks and whistles that the translator did not convert. The other soldiers immediately lowered their weapons and moved toward the exits. The force fields vanished. This world will be marked as hostile territory, the commander said, backing toward the door. No other vessels will approach your system. Fantastic, Maya said cheerfully. Have a safe trip. The aliens retreated through the gymnasium doors. Moments later, a deep thrumming vibration shook the building as their ships lifted off. Through the windows, students watched massive vessels climb into the sky, their hulls glowing as they accelerated toward orbit. Then they were gone. The auditorium erupted in chaos, students screaming, crying, laughing in relief. Teachers trying to restore order while simultaneously falling apart themselves. Maya walked back to her seat, sat down, and pulled out her calculus textbook. Jasmine stared at her. What the hell just happened? I bluffed, Maya said calmly, highlighting a formula. About 80% of what I said was complete fabrication. Which 80%? Most of it. Maya turned a page. The drone thing was real. The nuclear response protocols were real. Everything else? Made up on the spot. You are insane, Jasmine whispered. What if they had called your bluff? Then we would all be dead, and I would not have to take my calculus exam. Maya looked up, grinning. But they did not call it, because the one thing I did not lie about was human spite. We are terrifying when we are angry. They knew it. I just reminded them. Principal Henderson stumbled over, his face pale. Miss Torres, we need to, the authorities will. There are going to be questions. Tell them what happened, Maya said. Aliens invaded. Earl talked them out of it. Standard Tuesday. She went back to her textbook, but her hands were shaking. Jasmine noticed and quietly reached over, squeezing her friend's wrist. You good? Jasmine asked softly. Not even a little bit, Maya admitted. But we are alive, so I am calling it a win. The next hour dissolved into pandemonium. Military vehicles surrounded the school. Federal agents in dark suits swarmed the building, interviewing everyone. News helicopters circled overhead like vultures. Maya was pulled into an empty classroom where three severe-looking men in military uniforms waited. The oldest one, a general with silver hair and more medals than seemed structurally sound, sat down across from her. "Miss Torres," he said, "we have some questions." "I figured," Maya replied. "How did you know the aliens had our coordinates?" "I did not. I assumed, if they found us, they had to have some kind of navigation data." Seemed like a reasonable guess. The general leaned back. "And the information packet you claimed to have distributed?" "My physics homework from last week, formatted to look important." Maya shrugged. They did not exactly have time to verify. One of the other officers made a strangled sound. The general silenced him with a look. "You invented a global defense network that does not exist, threatened interstellar war with weapons we cannot build, and convinced a superior military force to retreat based entirely on lies." "Yep." The general stared at her for a long moment. Then he smiled. "How would you feel about a military career, Miss Torres?" "Pass," Maya said. "I am going to MIT to study astrophysics, but I will consult if you pay me." "We will be in touch," the general said, standing. "In the meantime, you are going to need protection. Those aliens marked Earth as hostile, but that does not mean others will not come looking." "I know," Maya said quietly. "That is why I am learning everything I can. Next time, I want real weapons, real defenses, real options." "Next time?" Maya looked out the window at the sky, her expression distant. "They will come back. Maybe not them, but someone will. And when they do, I am going to make damn sure we are ready." The general nodded slowly. "We will need people like you for what comes next." "I know," Maya said. "That is what scares me." As the interrogations continued into the evening, Maya's phone vibrated constantly with messages. Her stream had gone viral. 20 million views and climbing. News networks were calling her a hero. Politicians were demanding investigations. Scientists were analyzing every second of footage. And somewhere in the depths of classified military installations, strategists were realizing that a 17-year-old girl had just changed humanity's place in the galaxy. But Maya was thinking about something else entirely. Something the alien commander had said just before leaving. A phrase that the translator had rendered in that flat, emotionless voice. "This world will be marked." Not marked as hostile, just marked, which meant the aliens had not been frightened away. They had been told to retreat. By someone with enough authority to override an active harvesting operation. Maya stared at her phone, at the millions of people who now knew that humanity was not alone, that we were vulnerable, that we had enemies among the stars, and then she realized the truly terrifying truth. The invasion had never been real. It had been a test to see how humans would respond to an existential threat, how quickly we would adapt, how viciously we would fight, how convincingly we could lie. Someone out there, something far more dangerous than a simple harvesting fleet, had wanted to measure humanity's potential, and we had just shown them exactly what we were capable of. Maya closed her eyes, feeling the weight of what she had done settling over her like a shroud. "We are in so much trouble," she whispered. Outside, the sky darkened. Stars appeared, cold and distant, and among those stars, something was watching. 3 weeks later, Maya sat in an underground bunker 200 feet beneath the Pentagon, watching satellite feeds of objects entering Earth's orbit. Not invasion ships. Observation platforms. 17 of them positioned at strategic points around the planet, their sensors sweeping every inch of the surface. "They are just watching," Colonel Sarah Chen said, standing beside Maya's workstation. "No hostile action, no communication attempts, just surveillance." "They are studying us," Maya replied, not looking away from the screens, "like lab rats. That assessment matches our analysis." Chen pulled up a classified report. "But here is what concerns me. These platforms. They are not from the same species you encountered. Different technology signature, different materials, completely separate origin." Maya felt ice crawl down her spine. "How many?" "At least 4 distinct alien civilizations, according to spectral analysis. Possibly more." Chen's expression was grim. "Your little performance got attention. more than we anticipated. Fantastic, Maya muttered. So instead of one enemy, I made us interesting to multiple hostile species. Not necessarily hostile, Chen corrected. The observation platforms have not interfered with anything. They are passive collectors. But yes, you put humanity on the galactic map in a very dramatic way. Maya had spent the last 3 weeks in government custody. Not arrested, technically. Protected. The official story was that she was receiving medical treatment after the traumatic alien encounter. The truth was that every intelligence agency on the planet wanted to understand how a high school student had managed to bluff an advanced alien species into retreating. The answer, as it turned out, was simple. She had understood something fundamental about intelligent species. They were all afraid of the same thing: unpredictability. The aliens had expected surrender or resistance, fighting or fleeing. Standard behavioral patterns that fit their models of how prey species responded to predators. Maya had given them neither. She had offered a third option: mutually assured destruction delivered with a smile and absolute conviction. It broke their threat assessment protocols completely. You turned us into the crazy species, General Morrison said, entering the briefing room. He had been assigned as Maya's primary military liaison. Every alien civilization monitoring Earth now thinks humans are dangerously unstable and willing to commit suicide to take enemies with us. Good, Maya said flatly. Fear keeps people alive. It also makes you a target. Morrison pulled up a holographic display. 3 of the observation platforms belong to species known for preemptive strikes against perceived threats. If they decide we are too dangerous to leave alive, then we better make sure we actually are dangerous enough to make them think twice. Maya finished. She stood, walking to the hologram. What assets do we have? Conventional forces, obviously. Nuclear arsenals. Some experimental energy weapons that are decades away from deployment. Morrison gestured at the display. Nothing that can reach orbit reliably, and certainly nothing that can engage multiple targets simultaneously. What about the thing you are not telling me? Maya asked, turning to face him directly. The reason you brought a teenager into the most secure military facility on Earth instead of just debriefing me and sending me home, the real reason I am here. Morrison and Chen exchanged glances. Finally, Morrison nodded. Show her. Chen typed rapidly on a console. The hologram shifted, displaying technical schematics for a device Maya did not recognize. It looked like a massive ring, miles in diameter, covered in complex machinery. Alcubierre drive, Chen said. We have been working on it for 30 years, classified beyond top secret. It does not move a ship through space. It warps space around the ship, faster than light travel. Maya stared at the schematics. You have a functional FTL drive. We have a prototype that works in controlled conditions. Morrison corrected. It has never been tested with an actual vessel. The power requirements are astronomical, and even if we get it working, we only have enough exotic matter to build one. One ship, Maya said slowly, with faster-than-light capability. A ship that could reach those aliens' home systems before they reach ours, Chen added. If it came to that, Maya understood immediately. You want to make the bluff real, actually have the capability to strike back if they attack us. More than that, Morrison said. We want you to help us design a strategy for first contact that does not rely on threats. Because eventually, those observation platforms will leave, and what comes after them might not be interested in watching. Why me? Maya asked. I am not a diplomat, I am not a soldier, I am just a kid who got lucky. You are the person who figured out how to win a war without firing a shot, Chen said. That is a skill set we desperately need. Maya looked back at the hologram, at the massive ring that represented humanity's first real chance at becoming a spacefaring species. Not through exploration or curiosity, but through necessity. Through fear. What do you need from me? Morrison pulled up another display. This one showed psychological profiles, threat assessments, and strategic recommendations. We need you to think like them. Anticipate their next move. Help us prepare for scenarios where talking is not enough. You want me to start a war, Maya said quietly. We want you to prevent one. Morrison countered, by making sure any species considering invasion understands the cost. Maya spent the next 6 hours reviewing everything the government had collected on alien civilizations. Intercepted communications, analyzed technology, behavioral patterns inferred from observation platform movements. One species in particular caught her attention. The Kashari Collective. Their platforms moved in coordinated patterns that suggested hive mind intelligence. They had been observing Earth's major population centers with unusual focus. They are planning something, Maya said, pointing at the data. Look at the scanning patterns. They are not just observing, they are mapping. Chen leaned closer. Mapping for what? Infrastructure targets, power grids, communication hubs, military installations. Maya pulled up comparative analysis. This is not reconnaissance. It is targeting data for a precision strike. Morrison's face went pale. When? No way to know for sure, but the scanning intensity has increased 40% in the last week. If I had to guess, soon. We need to do something, Chen said. If they strike first, then my bluff becomes reality, Maya finished. And 7 billion people die learning I was not lying about the nuclear retaliation. She stood abruptly. I need to talk to them.
The aliens? Morrison asked. That is impossible. We have been trying to establish communication for weeks. They ignore every attempt.
Because you are using official channels, diplomatic protocols, government signals. Maya grabbed her phone. I am going to try something different. She opened the streaming app, the same one she had used during the invasion. Started a live broadcast. Within seconds, thousands of viewers appeared. A million. Hi everyone, Maya said, looking directly at the camera. My name is Maya Torres, and 3 weeks ago I convinced an alien invasion force to leave Earth. That video went viral. A lot of attention, including from some new visitors currently in orbit. She held up a tablet showing orbital tracking data, specifically 17 observation platforms from at least 4 different species, and one of those species, the Kashari Collective. They are not just watching anymore. They are preparing to attack. Comments exploded across the screen. News networks immediately picked up the feed. Government officials started frantically trying to shut down the broadcast, but Maya had routed it through encrypted servers in 14 countries. They could not stop her without destroying critical infrastructure. So here is my message to the Kashari Collective, Maya continued. I know you are listening. I know your platforms monitor all electromagnetic communications. I want you to understand something very important. She set down the tablet and looked directly into the camera. When I threatened the last group of aliens, I was mostly bluffing, making up stories about weapons we did not have and retaliation protocols that did not exist. But you know what happened after that video went viral? Governments actually built those systems. The drones I mentioned? They exist now. The distributed data network? Active. The orbital defense platforms? Under construction. Maya's expression hardened. You turned my lies into reality by giving humanity a reason to be afraid. So congratulations. You successfully motivated the most creatively destructive species in the galaxy to weaponize everything we have. She pulled up schematics on her tablet. Not the real Alcubierre drive designs, but close enough. This is our faster-than-light propulsion system. We will have it operational in 18 months. When that happens, the galaxy gets a lot smaller and a lot more dangerous for anyone who decides Earth looks like an easy target. Morrison was frantically gesturing for her to stop, but Maya ignored him. Here is what I propose instead, she said. You want resources, information, technology? Let us trade, like civilized species. You have knowledge we need. We have creativity you lack. Humans are Mantech at finding unconventional solutions to complex problems. Partner with us instead of conquering us. She paused, letting that sink in. Or attack, and find out what happens when you back intelligent primates into a corner. Your choice, but decide quickly, because our weapon systems are getting smarter every day, and I promise you do not want to see what we build when we stop being scared and start being angry. Maya ended the broadcast. The room erupted in chaos. Military officers shouting, intelligence analyst frantically trying to assess the damage. Morrison looking like he wanted to strangle her. What the hell did you just do? He demanded. I offered them an alternative, Maya said calmly. Fear only works for so long. Eventually someone calls the bluff. Better to give them a reason to want us alive. You revealed classified technology on a public broadcast, Chen said. Half the planet now knows we are building an FTL drive. Good, Maya replied. Let them know. Let everyone know. Humans are going to the stars, whether aliens like it or not. We are not asking permission anymore. For 3 days, nothing happened. The observation platforms maintained their positions. No communication, no movement. Then on the fourth day, something changed. One of the Kashari platforms broadcast a signal, not to Earth governments, not to military installations, to Maya's phone. She answered it in the Pentagon briefing room, surrounded by generals and scientists and intelligence officers. A voice emerged from the speakers. Not translated. Pure, unfiltered alien communication that somehow Maya's brain understood. Later, linguists would theorize it was some kind of telepathic interface. Psychic translation. Whatever it was, Maya heard the words clearly. Human child, you speak of trade, of partnership. These concepts are unfamiliar to the collective. Then learn them, Maya replied. Because the alternative is extinction. Yours or ours. A long pause. You would truly sacrifice your entire species to destroy ours? In a heartbeat, Maya lied. But I would rather build something instead. What do you want? Really want? Another pause. Longer this time. The collective requires rare elements found on your world. Extraction would devastate your biosphere. So mine asteroids instead, Maya said. There are millions of them in our solar system loaded with resources. Help us build the infrastructure to harvest them, and you get everything you need without killing anyone. This would require technology transfer. Shared knowledge. Exactly. Maya agreed. You teach us advanced mining techniques. We teach you human innovation. Everybody wins. And if we refuse, Maya smiled, but it was not a friendly expression. Then you spend the next century wondering when the angry humans will show up at your home world. We are patient when we need to be, and we never forget an insult. The silence stretched for nearly a minute. Then the voice spoke again. The collective will consider your proposal. We require time to deliberate. You have 48 hours, Maya said. After that, we start building warships instead of mining equipment. Your choice. The connection terminated. Morrison stared at her. You just negotiated a potential alliance with a hive mind species while threatening them with genocide. It is called diplomacy, Maya said. Human style. 46 hours later, the Kashari platforms moved. Not toward Earth. Away from it. Out to the asteroid belt where they began deploying mining equipment. A message arrived at the Pentagon. Technical schematics for advanced resource extraction, propulsion systems, energy generation, medical technology, and a simple statement. The collective accepts the human proposal. We will observe the partnership with interest. Over the following months, similar agreements were reached with 2 other observing species. Trade deals, technology exchanges, cultural missions. Humanity had become part of a galactic community, not through conquest or submission, but through sheer stubborn refusal to accept either option. Maya returned to high school 6 months after the invasion. She walked into her calculus class, sat down at her old desk, and pulled out her textbook. Jasmine, sitting beside her, just shook her head. You saved the world, negotiated with 4 alien species, and started humanity's first interstellar trade agreement. And now you are back here studying derivatives. MIT is not going to accept me based on bluffing skills alone, Maya replied, highlighting a formula. I actually need to know this stuff if I am going to design the next generation of spacecraft. You are absolutely insane, Jasmine said affectionately. Probably, Maya agreed. But we are still alive, so I am calling it a success. Through the classroom window, the sky looked different now. Not empty, full of possibility. Full of dangers and wonders that humanity was only beginning to understand. And somewhere in orbit, observation platforms continued their quiet work. Not threats anymore. Partners. All because a 17-year-old girl had refused to be afraid and taught the galaxy that humans were far too stubborn to conquer. The calculus teacher walked in, started writing equations on the board. Maya copied them into her notebook, already thinking about propulsion equations and energy curves and the mathematics of faster-than-light travel. She had saved Earth once by talking. Next time she would save it by building something that could actually defend it. The exam was on Thursday. The rest of her life started after that, and Maya Torres was just getting started.